patron hangout here at Married with Clix. You are joined by myself, Jason Collins, and the beautiful Miss Amber Collins.
Hello.
Mrs. Amber Collins, sorry.
Sorry, it is a Mrs.
It's a very big Mrs. I apologize for this up here, but as soon as some of our patrons join in the chat, this will be gone. So what is this? This is a show where we take a little bit of time each month to open up our hearts to those who open up their wallets to us, as I've heard on other channels, so I'm copy pasting that. In fact, this entire idea is copy pasted from another channel that I saw, so you know everything's a copy paste. This is our first time doing it on the new setup too, so we're really excited to see if the quality continues once we have our patrons joining us. And actually, all of this, even though we still use Google Hangouts as our main overseas chat service, I just feel like stepping out of the using it as the broadcast tool has been working really well. So anyway, if you have any questions for us while you're watching live in the chat, you will need to use the super chat option at the in your chat window. Otherwise, we're just kind of not going to pay attention to your question, politely saying we're ignoring you. Because this is reserved for patrons or those of you who donate to us, and this is a way we show appreciation for it. We also give them a little time to catch up with us. They could also be asking us questions via our Discord, which is another thing that you get as a member of our patrons. Yeah, just in general. Overall, it's been a month. I'm sure you guys have noticed that things are back in action. Amber is a little tough on the voice, so say hello to everybody, Amber.
Hi.
Woo, daggy.
It just came right in there with
you came out with like the worst possible sounding voice.
Well, like the 50-year-old like heavy smoking prostitute voice. I'm like, hey fellas,
you looking for a good time? Yeah, it's been busy here in the channel. A lot of things around the house. It's funny, we've had what, two weeks of 7 days of content?
Yeah, we did miss one day this week on the Saturday, but that was like a
barely
we barely missed a day.
Yeah, we still ended up getting the Saturday content out on Sunday, so kind of got a double shot on Sunday. But it's like that chef. We're now just gonna say 7 shows per week, and just when we screw up, that kind of covers us.
We got lucky in preparing for this that it happened right around the time that we got the WizKids brick. So we were able to fill in some slots with having our unboxing and our figure review. So that kind of helped get that schedule going. And we did manage to get a game out today. It's been over a year.
The games are back!
Like, the last game we had up had a disclaimer on it being like, hey, we're using this new rules that they're going to try out, but we don't have the full rulebook yet, so we may do things wrong. That's how long it's been since we've had games on the channel.
Now, there's a reason for that. Games traditionally last, about 45 minutes to an hour in full content. That's like from the beginning where me and Amber yap at you guys to the end where we yap at you again. It's approximately 45 minutes. And there's nothing wrong with creating that content as far as filming it. But then, we've been editing the content and increasing the amount of information thrown across the screen at you guys. And as a result, that leads to... What was the math? It was about 6 hours per hour?
Yeah, something like that.
Of us to do work on the editing.
Yeah. Just because, like, every time you see a graphic show up, like that nice little dice roll, or the power shows up, or the character card, it's like... all of the pack stuff, I have that pre-made assets, and the same with all of the dice. But then I have to watch where the dice gets rolled, animate that in to make sure I have the right dice roll, and then put the right power. And initially, I think the first time I ever did a game, I had the explanation of a power, and then just a little, like, blurb every time a power was used. I took that out. Now, the only time a power shows up is the first time in a single game it is used to tell you what that power is. But then also I have the character cards. Now, the character cards, I have to make that art. because they don't do print and play anymore. So I have to either scan or take pictures of the card, crop it, make it the right size, highlight the power that's being used, animate the power that's being used, and then make sure it shows up in the video. So I actually sit there and I will watch, I'll watch the game, but then I'm pausing like every 10-20 seconds because these fast-paced games, it's like, okay, I can watch for 30 seconds, pause, all right, let's spend 3 minutes putting an animation in there. And thankfully I do a lot of uniform work, so a lot of it is copy and pasting. So even now, the new animation that I'm doing on the character cards, all of that is copy and paste too. But it's still a matter of that initial animation, then copy and paste, and then make sure the animation lines up properly, and then go. So like a 45-minute game, and I'm pausing every like 10-30 seconds to put in 3 minutes of animation. It ends up taking a really long time to edit it, but then it looks fantastic and you guys like it. So I'm glad that I'm able to make it look this fantastic, but it just takes me a really long time to get all of that done. Mm. And when I'm also have a time constraint between like having my kids go to school and then my kids coming back home from school, I think just to make sure we got it out on time, on I think it was Friday night, I was like, okay, Jason, dinner is done. I need you to go get all the kids ready for bed, put them to bed, read everybody's stories, because I need to sit here for the next 3 hours and edit this and finish my editing that I had already started like 2 days before.
Yeah, it's hectic work and it's really tight in the household. So we're really excited that we can start doing them again for now, because more exciting news in the house. Amber might be getting work, like actual paying work. Not that we don't get money for the channel, we just don't get much.
Not enough to like supplement me working of like 40 hours a week.
Enough for me to occasionally give the guys on the Metal Lab a couple bucks here and there when, you know, the budget can be stretched, or to occasionally buy them a Battle Royale, or to every so often buy them into, you know, things like Team Worlds and stuff like that. So that's kind of where all the money goes in the end. I mean, and then we get like the YouTube money, we get surprised by it, because I think it's like every quarter we get $160 or something if we're lucky. It's not a lot of money all over the place. This is not our career. We are not one of those YouTubers. We are a big HeroClix YouTube channel. We're probably one of the bigger ones. But at the same time, we are not by any means a PewDiePie level of income. I would love to see like a quarter of his money. Which is actually probably none now that I think about it. He's big and anti-Semitic and whatnot. Come on, it's...
I mean, you're not wrong.
He did a thing and it was not funny. But yeah, so Into the Mind of Madness has been a show we've been running lately. I've been having a lot of fun with that at times, and other times I'm kind of confused as to what I should be doing. And in the last couple episodes, you've noticed I haven't done much as far as builds yet, because I've hit this state right now as far as the game is woof.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, like right in my face. You've decided to point that light.
I'm sorry. I just wanted to light up a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. The last couple of weeks, I haven't done builds because a lot of that show is about me building for me, and Secret Wars just came out. It's still not out, technically.
Yeah, true, because we just did all the pre-releases.
Yeah. So we're getting our first tastes of it right now, and as a result, we're just kind of building up my knowledge base on that one so that I can go into that set with a full kind of knowledge range. And it's going to suck because this week as well, we don't have that kind of content as well, because I'm actually using Into the Mind of Madness as my show to have my round table this time around. So for the Rock World Cup round table, where I'm going to be talking to a bunch of players who are really good at the game of HeroClix, or just really good at the game of HeroClix, and have them kind of chit-chat with me about the upcoming Rock World Cup. Players I generally trust to give good advice, as it were. Mostly trust to give good advice. or to talk a lot. Thanks. I love it. I love Edward. As well, the Everyman Project has been that undertaking I've decided to go with. It's one of these pet projects where I'm not trying to change the game. I'm trying to introduce a new wide open competitive format for people to embrace, and at the same time I don't want to replace anybody's tournaments. Like I don't think Everyman Project should be the world's championship. I don't think we haven't talked about anything other than channel stuff, Nathaniel. Where are we? Yeah, I'm not trying to take over. I don't think this should be Worlds. I don't think it should be Rock Cup. I don't think it should even be a Rock thing. But I think it's going to be a fun format. And we've actually just had our first results emailed in, which I'm kind of looking forward to reading. Like, just this very second, that was that buzzing noise. So hopefully they follow the format, and I don't have to throw that email out. I've had people tell me, hey, we ran this format we ran your format, and then they told me all the restrictions they added, and I was like, no, that's not my format.
That's not the format.
That's not what I need. Because too often, when people create a new format, they start saying like, hey, this thing is going to be strong in the format, and don't realize why that's a good thing. Like for instance, the Everyman format, I present it to people and say, well, it's going to be cable dominated. Cool! Cable doesn't dominate anywhere. Except for sealed, right? So awesome, cool. Yeah, that's kind of my new stuff I've been working on. Metal Lab is going on as is. Still trying to find that consistent attendance, as it were. But we too often kind of find out at the last second, which is why we haven't been bringing in our backup guests. So yeah, that's what we've been working on lately, and. Okay, so we got I saw something in a Discord and it was like no talk about pre-release yet. Ask you what? Sometimes you get text messages via text, and it might be in relation to something I talked about. I don't know.
That is one thing, especially when we're filming, streaming, what your guys receiving. There's often a delay. So.
Oh yeah, I know there's a delay with this. I've seen the chat.
So it's not always readily apparent to us as to if you're responding to something we may have said 3 minutes ago, but you're getting it as if you're getting it right there.
Keep going.
No, I'm just trying to think of I'm not at all making the words connect the way that they should.
It's all good.
But yeah, so oftentimes we'll get like a question or something, and we'll be like, "Oh, what did we just say? What is that in regards to?"
All right. With that said, what else is up in the world of us? Grab me beer.
That's what's up in the world of us.
Pre-releases just happened. Amber, you went to a pre-release yesterday.
I did. What the
hell?
A
wild Michael Fedor has appeared. Oh boy. Okay, so now I actually have to take control of the camera. And he's appeared in costume and actually.
I think we broke it. I think we broke him.
No, we didn't break him. He's blinking. You look at those eyes. He's
he's
very still.
Very still.
It's kind of freaky. What's up, Michael?
Good job.
Hey, everyone.
Great. Honestly,
that was a great entrance. I was legitimately scared by that because all of a sudden I was looking this way to grab beer and I came back and there was something else on the screen. It was
it's even better because the new way we have it set up, it's proper Google Hangouts, so it doesn't. If nobody's in here with us, it doesn't start with the little windows on the top. So it's just you and us at the bottom. So I'm sure a bunch of people watching just all of a sudden, saw you.
Happy Halloween, everybody.
That's awesome.
All right, so we just had one sneak in on the chat just before you got on, and I'm gonna. Okay. So Nathaniel wanted to know. Sorry, I feel like he's typing as though he's as drunk as I should be. So, He wants to know what our favorite piece in the new set is. Amber, what's your favorite piece in the new set so far?
I really like the Iron Fist chase, and not just because of like I didn't pay attention to previews. Every time previews popped up, I didn't really read them. But at my pre-release, I managed to actually pull and play with the Iron Fist chase, and I really, really liked playing her. She was really good. Just in like having that opening 12 attack with flurry and charge, and she just like, and then like even when she gets hurt and lower down in her dial, she gets like a 17 defense with close combat expert and close combat reflexes, and like she single-handedly took down a world breaker where he couldn't even touch her, and it was good. I'm really liking that. But then I love everything from the weird world parts of the set. So
yeah, as far as what I've seen, like not physically handled necessarily, which Queen LeFay excites me. I actually did a whole episode of Into the Mind of Madness about how excited I am for that figure. But I'm also a big fan of the 2 Iron Fists that we got in this set. Like I like all kinds of Iron Fists because like the idea of a 6-armed Iron Fist and a caveman Iron Fist. So that's what's exciting me so far. All right, Michael.
Hey everyone. Alrighty. So, of course, I come prepared. So I brought a list. It's a little bit smaller of a list, but hey, it's the list. All right. So the first thing that I was really looking forward to was the Sheriff Steve Rogers. I'm a big Steve Rogers fan and everything like that. And unfortunately, he was pretty much worthless to me during the pre-release sealed. But I would like to know, should I even bother putting or trying him with the Justice Riders? Because I noticed there's a few keywords on there that match, and of course, seems like it would kind of blend in with them like that. But would it work, in your opinion?
Amber, what are your thoughts on it?
all the Cowboys. I played against I played against 2 of them during the pre-release on two separate teams, and he did well. They didn't get a chance to do the showdown trait, but just having that extra leadership, especially in sealed, went really far. And I don't remember off the top of my head, but I don't think anybody in the Justice Riders has leadership. So
Wonder Woman
does. Okay, but even then, bringing in another character in the same kind of theme of the Wild West thing, that adds leadership to it, and also his showdown trade could do really well for you. I think it would be worth try. I wouldn't say try it at a very competitive thing, but if you're going for a fun either home game or a casual game at your venue, absolutely throw them in with the Justice Riders.
Yeah. Always be aware, too, is that they don't get to increase their stats. Is I think what people miss frequently. So when he's got that 20 defense at range, it's super awesome. I know he'll be good in Everyman Project. I don't know if he's going to shine, per se, because it's pretty easy to close combat these days. With Colossal Retaliation as an option, along with a bunch of other things, he could be easily torn apart by a Surtur Retaliation at the very least. So, not a bad figure, but he's a common that's 50 points. So, meter your expectations. Don't expect him to own the board. Expect him to help a team well, and just don't expect him to. I swear to God, Nathaniel, I'm going to punish you for that one. Don't Discord and stream at the same time, kids. It's he's saying he one-shotted Sheriff Steve Rogers today. He shot the sheriff, but he did not shoot the deputy. And I'm done with you. He's also playing Fortnite, so I'm never going to forgive him for that. I know for a fact, though, you're never going to stop seeing me play Cowboys after October 26th. I hope everybody's got that date marked on their calendars like they should.
You think after 2 years you'd be sick of cowboys?
Nope. Especially not the screaming variety. I swear that screaming cowboy meme is like my favorite thing in the world now.
I wish we could share that. But...
yeah, I don't know about the legality of sharing that one. Maybe if we demonetize this video and put it out there, maybe we could. Anyway. Or if we change it enough, we just have him up here somewhere. Just
mute him. Watch the visual of the screaming cowboy.
All right, Michael.
All right, second one on the list would have to be, well, right off the bat when I started playing like that, our Drudge was honest with us and told us about that there were some errors in the dials. There were some things like that. What can you tell me anything more about what exactly happened? And, like, is this just like a glitch thing? Or because then I noticed that I pulled the Iron Man common like that. It looks like he's got poison, but according to the card and everything like that, it's not so. But, so like what exactly happened with that?
So I'm gonna tangentially answer this, or go on a tangent to answer this.
Ooh, Amber's turned a tangent.
So
Can't wait.
When I was in my late teens, early 20s, I worked in a bridal shop, and so we would have like bridal parties come in, try on dresses, pick out their dresses, pick out their colors, and then like set up their orders. And one of the big things that we did all the time, that we stressed more than anything, was to make sure if you had a bridal party of X amount of girls, that you ordered the dresses all at the same time. So we would not actually place an order with the manufacturer until every one of the bridesmaids had come in for a fitting and we sized them up and we sent it out. Because you cannot 100% guarantee that dye lots will be the same. So if you had ordered a dress like 1 week and then the next week ordered another dress and tacked on another bridesmaid, there's a very good possibility that the 5 you ordered the first week will be a different color than the 2 you ordered the second week. So this is very similar as to what happens here. And if you've ever like printed a color picture and had your toner run out and all of a sudden your red is pink and like your purple is blue, and basically this is what happens, is that you can't always guarantee that dye lots are going to be the same color, and sometimes you'll run out of the color that you need to mix to make, because when it comes down to like the ones that are affected are like the silvers and the blues and the purples and stuff like that, where if you don't have the right composition of dyes to make that color, it's going to come out wrong. And basically that's all it is that it was a print error, that the color that was supposed to be there, either there was an error in the actual like toner, the print, the ink, or they had like factory X print this and factory Y print that, and it wasn't the same dye. So there's a couple of different things, and it's just down to basic manufacturing. So it's just a manufacturing error, and WizKids was made aware of it, and they put out a notice on the win just being like, hey, this did happen, these things happen, so just follow the card, because all of the cards got printed properly. So all of the colors on the cards are right, and all of the powers are listed properly, but some of the dials just got printed wrong, essentially. Mm-hmm. And it's one of those things that older players will know about, and that we used to have to wait from WizKids for official erratas because we didn't have cards back then. So if there was a die lot that was off or misprinted, we were playing characters that were supposed to have like super senses, and we were playing it as if they had toughness. A lot of the times we would do like common sense rulings. So like if, let's say, I don't know, Electra had orange showing on her dial. And we're like, well, it's Elektra. She really shouldn't have toughness or energy explosion. That's likely blades and super senses. So there was a lot of common sense ruling back then. But then once we got the cards, and they're like, oh, cards always right. Once powers are there, they're like, I mean, sometimes the cards have been misprinted, but that is their fallback. If the colors on the dial look wrong, refer to the card. Because on top of misprinted colors with die lots and stuff, they do actually have the words printed as to what the name of the power is supposed to be.
Multiple Man still doesn't have TK.
Yes.
Also, Thanos does not have hypersonic and smoke cloud. Also, this week's Everyman's gonna be fun because I just got the results from a 4-man tournament that had some really fun teams, and somebody deviated from a team of mine. So allow me to, if I give advice, follow it. There's a reason I give the advice. Mudman. So it's gonna be that thing where it's like so many people are gonna try them and they're gonna realize it's just not worth it. Anyway, as far as what Amber's said, she's mostly right. And by mostly I mean probably absolutely correctly right. I just feel like it's close to a toner issue where it's like, oh, it's a little weak, guys. We got to get these up to print. They were probably running behind, and this thing just had to happen, and then they got made aware of it. Or this could be also, if you're going to think, if I was to conspiracy theorize and long-term think, they could very well have changed the people who are doing the ink on the dials. And as a result, they've been warned that this is a thing that could happen in their new manufacturing process, which is part of why the dials are on the cards now. That's conspiracy thinking at its finest, though. I have no proof, no basis of information on this one, and I'm not going to speculate that that's a fact at all. In fact, I just made all of that up to sound interesting so that Amber wasn't the only one who talked her way through this answer. All right. Briefly, before Mike gets another question in, Nathaniel wants to know if we're excited for Worlds. Absolutely, because even if I lose, I can go watch the Omegathon. that thing is crazy, and they're doing a board game version. I want to see if they end up playing Tiddlywinks, just because I've said it so many times. It's just like, all right, guys, we're gonna play. What is it? What's the one with the alligator? Pulling the tooth and the alligator.
Crocodile Dentist.
Is it just called Crocodile Dentist?
Yeah.
I want to see them play that. I want to see them play like an intense game like Settlers of Catan. Actually, but not Settlers of Catan. I want to be like something intense, but nobody's played.
I want, if it's Crocodile Dentist, I want old school Crocodile Dentist where you actually had to use pliers and physically pull a plastic tooth out of the casing.
Oh, that's right, because they made a new version. You just used your hands.
Yeah, that's the travel. That was the travel version as a kid, but now that's the only version you can get. Is that little like spring-loaded one?
And then I want to see them once try to put together a mousetrap. You can't do it. Spoiler alert.
And then the very last game should be like Shadows of the Camelot or like Pandemic, where it's like a cooperative game. They're like, how do we win this? It's like how you all lose.
How do you win it? You don't draw the traitor. It's how you lose, because the traitor is the only one who ever wins a Shadows over Camelot. All right. Next up, we went on a big tangent on like losing at Worlds. It's gonna be an intense 2 days, that's for sure. Like it's Friday, boom, 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 boom. And if Friday went bad for you, you're bored Saturday.
Go enjoy the rest of the convention. You paid $60 to get in.
I hope you like board games, kids, because or you battle royaling the whole time. I'm 50-50 on it. I like it and I don't like it. You know, I like the intensity. I like the fact that you got to play HeroClix. You got to play a lot of HeroClix to get into Worlds. You got to be in the top 16 of teams so you got to be one of those 48 players, or you just got to do well enough at the singles.
I'm looking forward to spending the Saturday going out and trying out board games because I'm not expecting to qualify for Worlds, and I'm not trying the second tournament. I'm playing Team Worlds, and I really do hope that my team does well. But if they don't, I'm not trying again.
Fair enough. All right, Michael, it's all yours again.
Alrighty, so I try not to concentrate on the somewhat negative aspects of this set. So just so I understand it, though, so all Iron Man will have that glitch, or no? Like I'll have to. Okay. There are some correct out there that. Yeah. Okay. So you just kind of would this be worth more? Hey, remember back in the day when they kind of screwed up their dial? Would this make it a rarity or something like that, or who would want something like a?
It depends on whether or not we get the same community that Magic the Gathering has. There is a community of Magic the Gathering players who will expressly only play miscut or misprinted cards, and they will spend top dollar on that. But we're talking about a game that's played by millions of people. Millions more than play HeroClix. And they've had time to develop this community. This used to be a subset of people. And then this subset got bigger because of the internet. And there's just eras of this type just don't exist enough in HeroClix for that type of player to really kind of go, hey, we must have this. So I feel like... Amber's dying. I feel like unless that somehow this happens more frequently or this kind of thing occurs more often, they need that this community has to rise out of nowhere. So it's worth nothing right now at face value, but there could be some dude out there who's like, hey, if not all of them are like this, I do want these messed up ones if you don't mind, please. There's probably a guy who's got a stack of Hydro Men with no cards, and he's like, I don't want them.
I'm sure there's some Iron Man collector out there that was like, look, they're identical Iron Man, but this one is slightly this color.
Don't forget, you're the person who owns 2 different sets of the Clobbering Time Logan because the second print run didn't have the cigar.
I actually only own one with the cigar. I can't even confirm the existence of the other 2 with cigars.
So.
All right, moving on. Now we've ever since I've started, doing this show with you guys and everything. I'm also, familiar with. It was the running gag that the HeroClix guys just love Batman, and he was, the Bat God, and there's so many pieces that make that character so good. Did that person either quit or retire, and the new person that came in fill that place just love Thor?
I mean, in the Thor guy's defense, Battle World had a lot of Thors. In the Thor guy's defense, there's it might be a Thor spot for some people, but it's not like they started making bad Batmans, though. There's still lots of good Batmans they keep making. I mean, Batman Beyond is the talk of the town as far as one of the best commons in the game recently made. So I wouldn't say that they've stopped liking Batman. They just probably realized we've made a lot of really good Batmans. Let's make some really good Thors, and then turned out they wanted to just make as many Thors as they possibly could. So their fingers are probably Thor from all the work that they've been doing. Amber, who's that lawyer?
The pun game is strong with you tonight, Jason.
Oh, I'm just hammering them out.
Oh my god. Why did I come back?
Did you want me on there? I tried too hard on that one. I'm just gonna stop.
You just stop it. I was trying to find my halls.
Find the halls? Halls of Asgard?
No.
Does that colorful road you take out there?
Yeah.
Just go over the bridge, the colorful bridge, the rainbow bridge. You need the Heimlich? or the Heimdall maneuver. All right, I'm gonna stop it. I'm gonna keep it low key.
Good night, everybody.
No, officer, she just jumped me. I don't know what it was all about.
Why is there a knife in my back?
Oh, I know why there's a knife in my back. Oh, do I feel bad? Not at all. Oh, look at you. Look at you. This is going to be a Thor spot for a while, eh? Oh, it brings a tear to my eye.
That way?
These jokes are hella good. This is why they made all these Thor. I mean, guys, there's a figure in the set called Dinothor, and that's not my fault. There's a Boar Thor and a Dinothor.
I just got that can be a pun.
Oh my god, you didn't realize Dinothor was a thing?
Because I've been saying it so separate as Dino Thor. I didn't say it fast like Dinothor.
This is almost as bad as my Magic the Gathering salad thing. Poor Thor. Poor Thor. Anyway, I don't know what goes on in design, man. They send us boxes. That's all. That's as close to the company as we get. We send their marketing guys emails back and forth. Wonderful person. Love you, Chris. We get told don't do it before Scott Porter. That's generally how close in we are. I do see what you're saying, though, is that like Batmans aren't as strong and potent as they used to be. I think Joker's Wild was the last Batman Supreme, to say the least.
Then I feel like they also go in overboard with doing the pick a power Batman.
It's true. Like yeah, they've done quite a few Batmans. They're gonna dial it a bit back, but also, who knows what Warner Brothers is telling them they can do? That's the other thing. This is the story every time somebody asks me about this. Is like, so don't you think they make too much of this figure? Yeah, probably because they're being told to make too much of this figure. Thor is in the Avengers, so Marvel's like, hey, could you make some more Thors? Some Iron Men?
I'm sorry.
And Amber is going to die on my show. And if you're talking about Ultimate Thor, I mean, Ultimate Thor has been that way since the old days. Like go back. I think the set was Mutate. No, it wasn't Mutate. Mutant Mayhem.
Wasn't it Ultimates?
It was just the Ultimate set, wasn't it? The Ultimate Thor was a unique in the Ultimate set, Jason, you idiot. That guy had the Ultimate team ability, which is the Superman team ability. So Thor's been killing Batman for decades. So there is a fan of Batman working for WizKids, and there's another fan on the Marvel side of the design team. It's like, oh, Batman's got stealth, you say? Be a shame if Thor ignored it. Oh, lightning doesn't care about your bush.
I don't know anything to say on this.
Did I pun the hell out of you?
Yes. Done.
Man, I put so many puns in you, you're going to need an Asgard.
He doesn't stop, ladies and gentlemen. He just doesn't stop.
Tip your waitresses. Try the veal. I'm laughing at my jokes more than Howie Mandel here. I need Amber back so we can let Michael ask another question.
Okay, so let's just keep the focus back on to this Iron Man. I pulled this in the pre-release chase, or the whatever, and I would like to know. I was playing him as a support character. I want to know if this was the right idea to do it, given you don't know exactly my options there, but I was just approaching it as a support character, given his powers, so Is like the next question is Iron Man common the 003 in the set a support piece or not in your opinion?
Oh, he's a support piece. He is what we like to call the sealed specific support, where you'll get stuff in your pack, but you'll need stuff in your sealed pool, and he fills a lot of blanks that you don't normally get filled with some characters. He has telekinesis. God knows you'll pull a character like, man, I have hypersonic. It'd be a shame if I had if I didn't. It's a shame that I don't have telekinesis. He's got it. I need to protect my team with some barrier. He's got it. He's got sidestep as well, and at 65 points with 6 range, he's able to also add a little extra beef with your taco attack. He's just a general good extra piece to have. Even in that late Dow where he gets perplexed, he's never not supporting your team. So just a generally decent support character. That's his, like, at 65 points, you can't go wrong with how much utility he brings. Amber?
This is where this slight misprint on the dials have made this really interesting, because the Iron Man that I went up against at the pre-release weren't being used as support figures because everybody didn't realize he had TK. Because his TK looks like Smoke Cloud. Or whatever it is that it looked like. It wasn't immediately apparent that he had TK, so everybody was using him as an attacker. Or they would, because he's a flyer, carrying people. So it would be transport and then range combat expert. And it made him a really decent attacker. And then they're like, oh, he's got TK.
So he's even better. So, yeah, played incorrectly, he's awesome. Played correctly, he's even better. So yeah, your initial assessment on him being extra support, bang on, dude.
Okay, so then a follow-up to that question was, what is the main thing to look for when identifying a support piece versus a main attacker or something like that? So, like for the players just getting into the game, or anything else like that, what kind of advice would you have for identifying support versus main attacker?
Well, support characters are generally 75 or less. But then the more points you spend, the more support they have to bring. The support powers, specifically, are telekinesis, outwit, perplex, probability control, barrier, smoke cloud. Those are your general support powers. Smoke cloud is more of a support power when you have a character with stealth, because you'll need that extra stealth. Other times, depending on the smoke cloud, it might be an offensive character. Either way. And you got to look at the dial and go, is this smaller point piece with all this utility only this utility? So like this Iron Man, you can't just kind of sit back and expect him to strictly be your TK, strictly be your barrier, strictly be those two things. He's also got range combat expert for a reason, and that is, you gotta watch for these things. Support took a really weird turn upwards in points and utility about 5 years ago, I think I'd say, where all of a sudden you get a 50-point character who's got like 11 attack, 3 damage, but also has like probability perplex. And you have to look at that and go, well, that's primarily a supporter, but if things get dicey and I need that extra attack to finish off that 11-click character, let's pop that extra 3 damage on there. That's going to go for a long way. So it's a matter of recognizing what degree of support they are. And you always look at it like, if this is a 15-point character, I'm expecting one thing out of them. So like a Betty Brant, prime example of a strictly support, strictly keep her out of danger kind of character. Or like a J. Jonah Jameson, like 30 and under, don't expect any extra damage out of them unless your name is Molly Hayes. But then outside of that, it's, as long as they have that list of any of those powers that I just listed, that becomes their, in sealed especially, that becomes their role. Because sealed, you kind of downplay roles, upplay other roles. So like my main attacker might be what is a 100-point figure, and normally in like constructed play that's maybe my secondary attacker unless I add a bunch of things to him. And in sealed, you're not going to get those bunch of things. You're going to need the support characters to be those bunch of things, right? So you got to think support is this character making my other characters better? And that's what a support character generally is. Support could also come in the form of the PD or Hydra team abilities. It could come in the form of the shield team ability, whatnot. So
sorry, that just reminded me. Sheriff Stephen Rogers has PD.
I think I said that today.
Did you?
I did.
Oh, okay. I totally messed up when we were talking about playing him.
Yeah, I mentioned that he also had the PD team ability because you said so much it was cool. I was like, okay, well, Amber covered most of it, but he also got the PD team ability.
Yeah.
So you did miss it. I didn't.
That's what he was being utilized for in the pre-release.
Yeah.
Was the PD team ability.
Yeah. So if having this character elevates my other characters, that kind of puts them in that first tier of support. And then if they say, I'm going to elevate this character, but I'm also going to blow that character's face off, that's an awesome... that's a double support character, or a support secondary attacker sort of character. So there's many tiers of defining a support character that I guess I got to do a metafix on now.
Give us more content.
Yeah. And it's just a matter of identifying where they're going to fit on your team. And like when I focus it on sealed specifically, like I said, a 65-point character like the Iron Man is going to be a little bit more downplayed in sealed than he would be in what you would expect from him in constructed. Whereas like ultimate Thor would be downplayed in constructed, but he's now upplayed in sealed. Just sealed is such a wacky world. I love it. Don't get me wrong. I'm sorry. I'm loving it now that they fixed the game. Like if you were to ask me how do I feel about sealed from Joker's Wild, you would hear some expletives out of it. Sealed after Joker's Wild, you hear nothing mean about the game from me. I mean, granted, there were some sites before there which were even better, but there's like I don't see any auto wins yet. Thanos looks tough, but my 9-year-old daughter didn't win all her games with him, so so it's not that easy. Right? Anything you want to add to that, Amber?
On the flip side of that, because you did kind of mention this as well, when you're looking for main attackers, one of the big things is combat values. If you have somebody that's naturally got a 12 attack and 3 or 4 damage on the top dial, more than likely that's going to be your head attacker. I mean, there's going to be powers that go with it that you want to look at, like charge and running shot and anything that they're going to do to boost themselves up. But even for like my own sealed game yesterday, when I had the Iron Fist chase with a World Breaker and a Captain America, and Captain America had 12 attack, 3 damage, and Iron Fist had 12 attack, 3 damage flurry, and the World Breaker had 11 attack, 3 damage. And it's like once you hit those high damage points, it's like those are the ones that if things are easy for them to hit and they do a lot of damage, those are more than likely the guys that you're using to attack with than anything else.
I'm good. Michael.
Alrighty, so will this new set be an improvement to the Asgard teams and keyword? Like, do you think? I seem to think that these pieces will fit in nicely with what we've had in the past. Like kind of folded into all. If you had an Asgard team before now with the Thor set recently and everything like that, and seem to have a lot more other pieces with the Asgardian keyword to it. Like, will this help it out?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. If only just the generic Thor. Generic Thor and Thoris really stand out to me. One of the things that Asgard as a keyword has generally kind of had and then lost and then had and then lost again, it's always been second string or support characters. because they're gods, and you don't usually expect that out of Asgardians. So occasionally we'll get like Asgardian warriors or Valkyries in small form, and they'll be pretty okay. But then we kind of lose out on the low value. And lately, we've been getting some lower value guys like Thor, but we haven't really had that kind of generic or non-specific Asgardian. And then this kind of opened up, like, because it was Battle World, and Battle World makes no sense. We have a Dynathor and a Boar Thor, and the generic Thors. We also have Thoris. We have all sorts of wacky Asgardians coming out of this set. Excuse me. That just bulk up the keyword for the most part. I mean, in this set alone, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 different characters with the Asgardian keyword. I had to go through because there's some with multiple team or point values. Also worth noting, there's a She-Hulk with the Asgardian keyword. Sorry, a She-Hulk who's not only got the Asgardian keyword, but has probability control. We have Thoris, who will also add probability control.
Also, Thoris has enhancement and PD team ability.
Absolutely. A lot of these Thors have the PD team ability. Ultimate Thor, the generic Thor, Thoris, Boar Thor, I think will have it. Yep. Boar Thor, Big Boss Hill, Dynathor, the Destroyer Thors. The standard non-prime Destroyer Thor has it. Then you have Odin, who just happens to have power cosmic, and the prime Destroyer Thor, who has power cosmic. So, I mean, they got a boost. There's almost an Asgardian team in this, and there's a lot of targets that I would use Thor Odin's son to ring the horn and say, come on over. Heck, I think I hypothesized with somebody a little while ago, or I might have even done it on Into the Mind of Madness, where you take the title Thor Odin's son from the Mighty Thor, you hypersonic with him, make an attack, and then you use the -2 ability, you call Odin over. Odin outwits your power, I don't care what it is, because he's adjacent to you, hopefully, and then watch your opponent weep uncontrollably as you've now done like 11 damage. 14 damage, I think, actually, with this specific one, because you get the attack from Thor, Thor Odin's son, and I think that's like a 4 or 5 damage, and then you call over his buddy Odin at 120 points, who's going to attack, and then he's going to attack again, because he's going to make a free attack when he comes up next to Thor, and then he's going to charge and attack. Like, there's just, I don't know if that made you sick to your stomach with the idea, but I think that's, if I'm correct, it's between 12 and 13 damage. I think Asgardian's okay. Amber, what do you think?
Yep.
just yep. Just yep. Okay.
Alrighty, so moving right along, I'm sorry, I'm kind of showing off my pieces as like, that I got recently, and I got lucky and pulled a Maestro.
Yeah, the Maestro.
All right, and I want to know your opinion. Like, I never got a chance. I even got the chance to pull the other Maestro from the other set as well. Except I never got a chance to put him on a team. Do you think this one is better than the older one, or what do you think, opinion-wise? Which piece is better? Do I go with this new Maestro, or is the older one still pretty darn good? Should I give it a chance to try and put it on some kind of a team?
It's taking everything in my power not to pull out the why not both situation, but that makes me a terrible person because I'm not currently. I'm looking at the new one with his charge and breaks through blocking, traded steel energy, leadership, and perplex. I might add, and perplex is even better if he's got other Battle World other guys. Or we've got, I think it was Mighty Thor that the other Maestro was from. I might be wrong on this one. Nope, I'm right. And he's playable also. Oh, geez, 250 is probably not the one we're going to talk about. They're both good. This is the problem we run into. The thing about this one, do they both have? No, just this one has colossal stamina, I think. which goes a long way. Although, okay, so here's your columns, your pros and your cons. All right, the new one, traded leadership and perplex, pro. The old one has colossal stamina, pro. Also, during force construction, you may conclude up to 3 equipment objects that each cost 10 or less in your sideline. When placing objects during game setup, you may place one of these objects in addition to your other placed objects. Other pro. So, we'll call those even pros. His special movement, the Mighty Thor set special movement, charge and flurry and force blast. If a character Maestro's knocks back is stopped by a square of blocking terrain, destroy that terrain, then place that character in that square. After resolutions, deal that character 1 penetrating damage. Pretty cool. And then the other one has charge, breaks through blocking, but also has traded steel energy. So we have to kind of put those on equal terms.
I found out like a couple of weeks ago that Maestro with traded steel energy before this set came out was really, really nasty.
Any character with traded steel energy is brutal.
But especially Maestro.
This one has leadership as a special power, but if they use it and succeed, they also move an action token for themselves. So, where am I going with all of this? What are you building? That's whatever you're building is what the Maestro you want to use is. If you're building a team, I think the other Maestro has a little bit more going for you for what you want. In addition to which, he's a little bit more flexible as far as movement's concerned, because the Mighty Thor set Maestro has a ton of late battle fury, which means you can't get him out of danger in the late game. The other one I don't think gets battle fury at all. Let me just pull this up to be sure. Maestro. Yeah, he doesn't get battle fury at all. So you can kind of carry him at your whim, which could be a good thing or a bad thing. Because here's the other thing. The other Maestro, you can't forget the good things that come with battle fury. This Maestro, the uncommon one, can be mind controlled, can be incapacitated. Problematic, if you ask me. The older Mighty Thor one can colossal stamina and late dial, won't be battle fury, and can get through shape change. So what do you need? What do you need? When do you need it? And how many points are you looking to spend? Because the other Maestro comes at 250, 175, or 100. This one comes at 175 or 100, I believe it is. Yeah, 175 or 100. What do you need? It's the best way I can put it. Anything you want to add before I? No, you're good. Okay. You staying awake here?
Not really.
Okay, well, glad for that, because I'm down now to my last question or so, like that. So if you guys are getting tired and need to move on, so
I had an energy drink before this, so
only because I'm sick.
But I do like the new hairdo again. That looks pretty cool. Like, I hope you feel better. So I want to know what your opinion is on creating Clix pieces based off of, say, one panel art, or maybe alternate cover realities and stuff like that. Is there enough there to kind of like be able to create a thing, or do you have to assume things like that? Because I'm currently really getting into the Harley Quinn solo series in the comics, and I don't know if you want me to show this to you like that, but I see this big panel here in one of the pages. I think it's her anniversary issue, the number 50, like, and right, and like she's doing a lot. I guess they're trying to make her really funny now, like kind of like Deadpool-ish, and breaking the fourth wall and everything. And then I open it up till about the middle of the panel, and it's like, holy crap, this is such an awesome idea. I want Clix to this, really. Can I show may I show the panel?
I think it should be fine.
Yeah, like that. So like that, there is a Harley Quinn versions of the I guess the Reign of the Superman parody right there up at the top there, and I thought, like, oh my god, that is so awesome. I want that as Clix forms now. I know it, even though that's the only place that they appear, like, but hopefully, I'm sorry, I didn't want to spoil anything for you. And there was another idea that a couple, I think maybe even last year, that had a either a Punisher alternate cover where it had Mary Jane with the Punisher's body,
Yeah. For 5 years, I had to stare at this character with my buddy Chris. This is one panel of a comic book. So, yeah, man, I love that they do it. So,
yeah, I like it, and like they had just Mary Jane on Punisher's body, or in a Punisher suit, like that, and targeting the devil with it, and like that, the one that screwed up their marriage and stuff like that. And it's, oh man, wouldn't that be awesome to like? I think it was right out when What If set had come on. So, oh man, why did they release? They released the What Ifs too early. They should have added this in there. But it's only just that you don't get any other idea from that. It's just that. Just that one cover, like that. There's nothing to base it on. There's no powers or anything to base it off of. But so,
isn't that really the
share that
strength of the one panel character, though? How can they say they're wrong?
True, right? True. Like and it would drive all the people like that want the continuity with the comics, like that. That's not what she does in the comics. What are you doing? Like people getting all upset about those sort of things. But here, like it just, man, that when I saw those, when I read this 50th or anniversary issue, like oh man, that's so cool. It's a great idea. And then that Harley Quinn set came out way too early then.
I mean, Harley Quinn still got the steam to come back and make another set, I'm sure. There's HeroClix is decades of, a decade and a half of one panel characters that they get design freedom on, right? As long as they keep a certain key number of things, they'll be fine. As an example, I think White Lantern Batman existed for one panel of a comic, and the only thing they had to make sure of is that they had the White Lantern stop click in there. That was the only thing they needed to take care of. Anytime that you have this individual panel of an idea, that's con exclusive fodder. Or, that's also the Kingdom Come comics. Let's not kid ourselves. The only characters that did anything, if you go back and reread Kingdom Come, the only characters who did anything, like actually did anything, Superman, Wonder Woman, Batman, Shazam. And even Batman, not really. Shazam, that's about it. But we still ended up getting Hawkman. We got an Orion because we got a Kingdom Come Power Woman. Kingdom Come Green Lantern, he makes bubbles and sits in a throne up in the sky. That's all he does. Like, so much of it is just panel, no knowledge sort of thing. And that lets him really run wild. And I think I want more figures based on stuff like that, so that I don't have to hear it's not really comic accurate though, is it? Argument. It's a game, guys. Let's have some fun with it, and let's kind of hypothesize how neat it would be for a Harley Quinn. Right? That might even look like Superboy. I'm not sure. I didn't get a good look at that, if that was Eradicator or Superboy, or it was one of the Reign of Supermen. But like having Harley Quinn with those abilities, with that Harley Quinn taste of goofiness and wall-breaking nonsense that they might decide to do with her in later days, like they've done with Deadpool, because they made Deadpool. They figured him out in more ways than one, both as a title character and as a shifting focus character. They got it. They nailed him. So hard. Phrasing. Amber, anything you want to tack on there? Well, before I repeat myself.
Negasonic Teenage Warhead was not only just a single panel in a comic, and we got her in HeroClix, But this was after she was like a single panel in a comic, and they put her in a movie. If they can do that, why can't we get a Superman Harley Quinn?
So, I say don't worry. You'll probably see what you're thinking about. But you also have to go on the HeroClix years. We'll get things way later than we got them in the comic, or we'll get a revisiting of things that we got already in HeroClix. So, as an example, we got Kingdom Come when we got it in HeroClix. Excuse me. We got Kingdom Come when we got it, and then we got the reprint much later on. Well past obscurity, but people love Kingdom Come. It basically sold World's Finest as a set. I almost feel like that set might not have sold as well without the Kingdom Come chases. It's hard to say. I personally don't think it would have sold as well. Because a lot of the power...
The ID cards in that one.
The ID cards also helped. Like, it was a double whammy. KC, chases, ID cards, and the God Pack. Like...
I feel like they put a lot in that set because they had no confidence in it selling.
Yeah. But then we'll, what is it? This past year we got Harley Quinn and the Gotham Girls. And that was like a lot of stuff from the year or 2 years previous Harley Quinn updates. So... a lot of time you don't get this year's comics, you'll get 2 years old. This year we got Battle World.
Yeah, which is a couple years old.
It's like 2 years old now. So, and we were anybody who wasn't expecting Battle World to be a set is oblivious to what happens with this game. I mean, the only thing I'm shocked about with Battle World is that it wasn't one of those storyline OP kits.
Yeah, I feel like they could have added more into that because it's unfortunate that we didn't get to see any of the X-Men based worlds that came out of Battle World.
Yeah. Also worth noting too, originally planned What If and Elseworlds were going to be a storyline OP event.
Yeah. Which I feel like would have made those go over better.
No. People always still find a reason to be angry.
Well, I don't know.
And that's the other thing too, is you'll find that people with this one panel thing, people will be like, darn it, this is only one panel of a comic book. Why are you wasting a HeroClix on this when I don't have some obscure character that these six people who read the Doom Patrol are familiar with? Sorry, I'm every, like, all 12 of the people who read Doom Patrol are going to be in our comments section just yelling at me. What?
I'm agreeing with you.
Okay. And that's fine. You're allowed to like your comics, but you do have to understand is that people want to see a White Lantern Batman. They're not as excited about a lot of the characters in the Doom Patrol, to be brutally honest. Not until the TV show comes out. Then everybody will be all over the Doom Patrol, and then those hipsters over there will be like, I would like to perform with the TV show. Thank you very much. And that's...
I would love to have an Exiles set, but I'm not going to get it because the audience on that isn't big enough.
Nope. It will consist of yet another Prime thing or a kind of subset thrown into 4 different sets across the universe.
We already had that problem.
And then when figure number 8, the final figure you wanted out of that, the other 2 sets rotate out and it's not modern.
We already had that problem. Like, at one point, there was 4 or 5 modern Exiles and 3 of them were Primes. It was ridiculous.
I think they've made every single Exile at one point or another too. Except the only thing they haven't made was the Age of
they haven't made Mimic.
Horsemen of the Apocalypse, Thunderhawk either.
Thunderbird. They've
Thunderbird,
never made
sorry.
Thunderbird, and they haven't made Mimic.
They've made Mimic.
They haven't made Exiles Mimic.
Oh, I'm sorry, they make Exiles.
They're very different characters.
I know, and it makes you so angry when I do that face. I love you. You're so beautiful. Never change. Don't be Thor about it. Oh! Oh. Need a stomach guard more than she needs an Asgard. Michael, quick before she kills me, do you have another question?
Okay, yeah, I thought of one last one right as you guys were still talking. Oh, yeah, I got to bring us up. Have you seen the new Venom movie?
No.
No? Okay, I recommend it. I loved it. It was great. Sony really knew how to tell a story. Like I like it, and it was an origin story. Like it was really really good. It was my first 3D movie. I saw it. I chose to say, okay, let's give it a chance. See what 3D looks like in this movie. And I said, yeah, good. It's all. I liked it, and even in 3D, it was amazing.
Did they explain why he looks like Spider-Man?
Nope. Unfortunately, it doesn't go that far into it like that, and they went to good length to try and keep that out of the movie. But
Venom fans hate me when I do that every time. I have a couple guys at work. It's like, I'm really looking forward to Venom. I'm a huge fan of Venom. I was like, cool. Yeah, Venom movie looks great. Why does he look like Spider-Man in that? And they just look at me like, because the whole reason, the whole motivation for Venom looking like Spider-Man is his hatred of Spider-Man, and it was taught by the symbiote. But if he doesn't have Spider-Man to hate, why does he look like Spider-Man in the movie? I'm such a troll about this too.
Yeah, I no response from me. I can't. There's no comeback after that. No.
It's all right. I'm so hot. I'm spewing venom.
I know nothing about Venom.
I'm putting carnage throughout all of the Venom fandom.
How are you even doing this right now? How do you live with yourself?
Very uncomfortably and often elbowed by people. You get immune to elbows in the spleen eventually.
I'm thinking about the fact that I know I'm very quiet right now. I imagine that I'm not transferring well. So a lot of people are just sitting here being like, just like snarky little comments. It's like we can see her mouth moving. But what is she saying? We're just like, oh, she's being snarky in the corner. That's all we know.
Yeah. All right. If you got nothing else, Mike?
No, that's it.
Right.
Thanks a lot. I had a lot of fun tonight. Thanks for answering all my questions. And then,
no problem. I hope you enjoyed all the Norse puns.
Nobody enjoyed that.
Oh, come on. They're kind of sweet. They're Swedish. I want to thank Michael and our other patrons for all their support over at patreon.com/marriedwithclicks. We appreciate their help, and you can join in with them. Just check it out, patreon.com/marriedwithclicks. Well, any dollar value will get you access to our Patron Hangout, will get you access to our Patron Discord, and any kind of wackiness that we engage in as well. $5 or up gets you early access to our videos and downloadable versions of our non-live videos, of course. And $10 up, you also get these awesome action tokens we've been getting made by Big Bully Games accessories. They've been doing a wonderful job with us, and I do love the work that they've been doing, and we do appreciate their love. So as always, we want to thank you guys for opening up your wallets. We took a minute to open up our hearts to you. Do us all a favor and be awesome and ignore all of my terrible thuns, everybody. Have a good night.